very special guest in today, and I'm going to let this young man introduce himself at this time.
I am George Bates, head football coach, athletic director at Centerpoint High School. Going on year 10 as a head coach, year 4 at Centerpoint.
Coach, take us back to your early years. I like to start our interviews out like this. Where did you grow up, and what did your childhood look like?
I grew up on the west side of Birmingham in the West End community, right off Jefferson Avenue, 18th place. Single parent household. Mom passed away about 10 years ago, and I got a little sister. She's not living anymore at 35, but still my little sister. Got a nephew. It's just I grew up on I'm a big believer saying you are a product of your environment, because at the end of the day I grew up on love. We didn't have money and finances, but I grew up on love, and that's what I try to give to my team and anybody in the youth that I encounter right now. And a lot of people say, well, you got to change it. Well, I don't want to change my upbringing, because I got to change to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and I was able to make my own choices on different things. But I am a product of my environment, so I'm a West Side guy till I die.
Love that, man. That's probably made you who the man you are today. How did you get into your coaching career? Was there a point in your playing career where you thought, man, I think I can teach this game?
Honestly, I guess when I was at West Alabama, my second year going into my sophomore year, I didn't declare a major. I thought I was going to be playing ball. I was going to be playing on Sundays, or at least in CFL. And but my academic advisor, told me, like, hey, I know you're supposed to be good at ball, but you need to declare a major. So I went into special education. And I actually taught special education for 9 years.
Takes a special person to do.
Yeah, it's different, man. And I tip my hat to those teachers that's involved with it, especially now with all the rules and everything that's changing. So that's kind of what it was. And I just knew a year after graduation, maybe 2 years, I tried out a couple things. I did arena, ball for a little while, but I was like, it's just not for me. I need to get, I had to take care of my mom and my little sister. So at that point, I had to put, ambitions. I wouldn't say goals. I had to put ambitions away and and face, and create my own reality, which was I needed to provide for my family, my mom, my sister. So I started teaching and coaching.
Now, your first head job was at Parker, correct?
Yeah, 2012.
Let's rewind the clock. Once you about to take the field in 2012 with Parker, what was going through your head at that time? Did you think, hey, I made it, or did you think what was you expecting as a head coach for the very first time?
It was tough. My mentor, Jim King, we had a thing to where when he coached me in high school, it was like, hey, we always talk about when are you ready to be a head coach? And our thing was back then was you need to be an assistant for 10 years. And I didn't question it. Okay. So it just so happened that my 10th year of coaching of being an assistant, after year 10, I got the opportunity, to be a head coach at Parker. So at that point, it's tough, because Parker's one of the most historic, Birmingham City schools, that it is. It's just, it's just the age Parker itself. It's just an amazing feat, to be the head coach there. And also, we were the first team that the on-site campus was built that year. So we were the first. Our team versus Carver High School was the first game in the new stadium on the new turf. So it just had a lot to do with it. And then plus, I'm at home. I'm in the city of Birmingham. It's my first head job. So I knew it was going to be tough and challenging, but I felt like I was really prepared for it from my 10 years prior.
Now you had other trips to Minor and also Woodlawn as well. We're going to fast forward the clock a little bit to the Centerpoint. When you inherited Centerpoint, I did some research on your coach. You was inheriting a 3-37 team, and the previous coach went 1-19. But you talked about a mentor that kind of helped you get over there. Can you talk about that and what kind of led you to Centerpoint?
It was a deal. Like I tell everybody, I got fired from Minor in late 16. We're December 6, 2016. I'm always remember the day of being fired. So I took the job at Woodlawn, and I just believe the Lord will put you in places for reasons or seasons. You may not see it then, but I got the job at Woodlawn, I think late July, late July. and I ended up getting a job at Center Point, I think February 26th, that following year. So I wasn't at Woodlawn, but a few months. I made it through a season, and it was just a deal to where I was familiar with Center Point, because when I was at Mount, we were in the same region together, so I was familiar with it. And I know they had nice facilities, and I knew it was a hotbed of talent, but the talent wasn't necessarily staying in Center Point, it was going elsewhere. And it's just no secret, man. You have a 6A state champ that's 7 minutes away from us. A 7A, another 6A perennial power was 15 minutes away, and then you got a 7A power that's 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. And it's just, kids see different things, the glitz and the glamour, but I just had faith in the staff that I could put together.
No doubt.
And I said, hey man, we won, prior to Woodlawn, we had one, like I tell everybody, we went 1-9. Like, I'm shy away from it. I learned, I guess, as much out of that 1-9 than we learned out when we went 11-2 the year prior. It's just, I take every situation, at heart, but I just knew Center Point, was going to be a great place for them because of the administration.
No doubt.
And that's, at that point in my career, I needed great admin, and I need to learn under some great admin. I need to be under some great admin to see things from different views, and that's what I had with Miss Van Phillips. So,
all right. Now I'm gonna ask you this. Let's change the gears a little bit. Since you and I played the game, football's evolved a lot over the years. Tell me some of the things you really like about the new way the game's played, and some of the things that you're not really on board with yet.
Honestly, it's people talk about it, for just the contact side of it, and I believe, I'm a big advocate for the safety side. We won the team that we got the Guardian caps. I wouldn't mind having, just a few two-a-days, like old school, so-called old school two-a-days, just camaraderie, with the bunch. Not saying you have to beat each other up, for 2 practices or 3 practices in that day, but I kind of would want the luxury, of being able to do it.
No
and that's just the main thing with me. You talk about offense as far as the RPOs and the downfield, not down the field, things of that nature. But to me, it's more of the safety. To me, that's the biggest thing, and it's weird to say because I'm all for the safety, but it's like I wonder why it took so long for us to get to this point. And but that's just the main thing with me. It's just the safety aspects of it. It's just it's no more blindside blocks where everybody should go crazy. Ooh, now you're teaching different ways to you're putting more into how not to have a big hit.
That's right.
So that's it goes more into practice time.
You celebrate those.
Oh yeah, you celebrate. Now it's like, what are you doing? Like that's 15 yards. Just that play coming back. So they're just teaching the new way, the legal way. Put it that way. I shouldn't say new way. Teaching the legal way of certain blocking and tackling. That's the biggest difference for me.
What does it take to be a player on your football team? What do you ask that a player has to have if he's going to be a part of your team?
And this is glad you asked, man. We in our program we always say is you either have to be a starter or an encourager or a contributor. And we feel like everybody that comes on our team has to fall into that category. So at least if you're a starter, of course you're the first guy out there on the field in your position. You're a starter. You're the first one out there. All right. The contributor, is that guy that doesn't start, but if we play 50 snaps on defense, he may play 15. You're a contributor. Like you contributing to the game, you're giving that starter a blow, you're doing what you got to do. All right, if you're not a starter or a contributor, you have to be an encourager. That's the guy on the sideline that's, hey, let's go. Good block, good tackle. The stay motivated guy, offense, defense, let's go. Special team, let's go. So we feel like that doesn't require, all 3 of those categories don't require talent. Of course to be a starter contributor, but you don't have to have amazing talent to be an encourager.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you're 6'5" or you're 5'6". It doesn't matter. Like you can fall in one of these categories. And we say if you can't fit in one of these 3 categories, you can't be on our team.
I love that.
And so that's kind of how we modeled it. We just said it in the SEC. That's what we say is the SEC.
I love that.
So
now, here's a question I'd like to ask you, and I think a lot of coaches are going to be waiting to hear your answer on this. If say a child is middle school coming up is going to play for you, What would you tell his parents from a parent's perspective? What do you expect parents to have their child a part of your team? I know a good support system at home and all that's great and fine and dandy, but sometimes parents unfortunately has ruined kids' careers at dinner tables and stuff. What's something you would tell a parent of a child that's coming to play for you that you kind of need from parents?
I just first I like to tell them I need you to support your son, and that's what it boils down to us. Like we want a big fan base, we really do. But in order for us to have a big fan base, every player on our team has to have that support from home. So we tell our parents, look, we need you to support what's in your four walls. Support that kid that you feed. And then once you come to enough games, you'll meet, a girlfriend, boyfriend, family, you'll meet somebody, and now you can start supporting their son. And before long, you're supporting the team. But initially, we say just support that kid that you feed.
That's it.
And let us coach, you be the parent, and we can talk about anything you want to talk about concerning your child, your son. We won't talk about another player. We'll talk about your son. And, we're going to academically come talk to us about attitude, behavior. You feel like he's being mistreated. We won't talk about playing time. If your son is not playing, we'll tell you what he needs to do to contribute to the team. We won't talk, that we won't, why is he not playing, why is he not? Well, ma'am, sir, he needs to be at practice more consistent. He needs to give more effort. He needs to learn the playbook. We'll tell you what he needs to do. We won't get into, well, in Little League, he started over the kid that you have starting over him now. We don't get into that. We just say what your son needs to do to improve on, what he needs to improve on to be able to contribute to our team.
I love that. Another thing we've noticed coming to some of your games, the way you work the officials in a unique way. Talk about that, man, because I love how you interact with officials. It's some of the best stuff I've ever seen.
It's and I have to do a great job with my staff because we have a very boisterous staff. They caught in the moment just like I am. And I'm like, hey, let me handle the ref. Let me talk to the ref. Let me talk to the ref.
That's your baby.
Yeah, let me talk to the ref. Let me talk to the ref. But it's one of those deals. Like I'm a very serious guy, but I just love the game of football, and I understand that it is a game. I want to win just as much as anybody, but I understand that it is a game, and the refs are doing a job. So am I going to agree with every call? No. But if my Friday night from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. if I'm hanging on to every call by the ref, I'm critiquing every single job. I don't want nobody critiquing. It happens. The fans doing it behind me, but I understand that pressure. I understand the pressure that they're under. So I feel like if I bash you, I'm not gonna get a call. That's right. Like it's just human nature. So I may get a call to go against me. Yeah. But if I feel like if I can kind of let you know, like I really wasn't pleased with that call in a nice way, and if in a nice way, it may be like, okay, I'm not gonna give him this call, but if it's close, he hadn't been in my ear all game. I did have a little chuckle with him, all right, here you go, coach. So it's just, I'm a
comical way.
Yeah, that's just the way it's 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 lighthearted. I'm serious at the same time, but it's just it does me no good to bash a ref, for 48 minutes in the ball game. Like if that's the case, I just write into the state to say this staff. I really want to have it. I really don't want this crew anymore, if possible. But I'm not gonna take 48 minutes just bash. Like I like to have a good time, and I just feel like if the refs feel like they can come talk to me, we doing a good job.
Absolutely. Yeah, Reggie and I, we were both rolling, watching some of your interactions with the refs last year at that corner game. Now, zero question about this. You're the sharpest dressed coach in the state. I think that goes without saying. You kind of carry that persona. Where did that come about? Is that something you've always done, your dress, and how do you decide what you're wearing that day?
Well, growing up, I said I used to watch Ohio State, and it came from Jim Tressel. Mm-hmm. And he had the gray sweater vest with the cardinal tie. Or I guess Ohio State colors is that cardinal, and I always said, like, man, that was unique. I used to always see, like back in the day, I used to see, field coaches on the sideline, San Francisco coach a long time ago, sideline with a suit on. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, that's just unique.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really like it. So I said, if I ever become a head coach, I'm gonna dress the way I want to dress, not gonna conform. And just the truth be known, like a polo like you have on there, I never really wear polos. So that's never been me. I started off when I was teaching, I had tattoos. So I never wore short sleeve shirts. Then as I got into more coaching, I wear long, it keeps me cool during the summer. And keep heat off my skin. So I never wear short sleeves, period now. So it got to the point to where like, man, when as an assistant, I wore what the head coach told me to wear.
Yeah.
But now as a head coach, it's like, I'm gonna do it my way. And it comes with, I know I wear a bow tie and a button down. That's gonna always be me. With Chuck Taylor's, that's gonna always be me. And I know it comes with, why is he, we lose a game like he worrying about what he got on more than what that comes with it. I get it, but I can only be who I am. I'm not putting on for anyone. I can only be who I am. On Friday nights when I put my bow tie on, button down on, that's my time I get locked in. That's my time to, just, hey, it's game time now. It's game mode, and it just, I get locked in, and that's just who I am.
I love it, man. Now, you're very well respected by your peers. Anybody we've ever come in contact with, we covered, 40, 50 teams at some point during the season. You're very well respected. I also know, just by talking to you off the field, you're a historian of high school football and stadiums. And I seen firsthand something last year when you made sure all the guys made sure every single piece of trash was picked up from Aniston before y'all walked off the field. I watched that firsthand. Talk about that a little bit, man, what it means to be in an organization where your peers respect you like they do, and for you to have that background of the love for the game to actually, you even said you actually go on tours sometimes just looking at high school stadiums, Aniston being one of them.
Man, it's a great feeling, though. Of course, you want to be, respected and thought highly of by your peers. It just lets you know you're doing, most of the things right. And I just take it as, because I don't, I don't have a state championship. And so when, coaches, tell us like we like the way you run your program, we keep up with this, and we like this and that. I'm like, man, it lets us know we're doing a lot of things, a lot of things right, not all, but a lot of things right. And just for just keeping up with, with things like I and just truth be told, you may walk in our locker room when we get back to school today, and it may not look like what a visiting locker room will look like when we leave it, but our deal is we're gonna leave it better than, when we found it. Like if it's, if it was nice when we got there, we're gonna make sure it's, still another level when we leave. And it's just, when we get outside the community, that's my thing as a coach. We can be, everybody talk about culture and character, and that's great. But we can be who we are at Center Point, but I want to be, when we're out, just say we're at Coosa Christian. I want Coosa Christian people to say, like, man, Center Point was pretty good. Coosa Christian might not ever come to Center Point. But by us being him, that one, that one time, that interaction, that one time meeting, I want them to say, man, Center Point, it's a pretty good group.
Good kids.
And so it's all about that one time. Like these people might not see my squad but one time, and I want it to be a nice look to them.
Favorable impression.
Right.
One time. Do you consider yourself a player's coach or a straight disciplinarian?
I would say, I guess I'm getting older now. I'm going on year 20, as a coach, but I think it's a young 20 years. I'm a player's coach into the sense of I keep my ear, to where it's kind of trendy.
You tuned in to what they're talking about.
Right. So I'm gonna kind of have an idea, and if I don't know, I'm gonna ask a couple. What does this mean? Well, y'all posting these different abbreviations. What does that mean? Y'all making these hand signals. What does that mean? So I'm gonna try to stay abreast to, and that comes from I may have to listen to some music that I may not like. Like, man, why y'all? That's but it's just I'm gonna stay tuned, to what's going on, and for us try to do uniforms and things of that nature. But I'm old school in an approach. Well, I shouldn't even say old school. I just think it's a one way that a young man and a man should be. You should have structure and discipline.
There you go.
So, and I'm not even gonna say old school. I think that's I think that's lost. A lot of times you feel like you're a player's coach. You feel like you can't. If you get on them, then they're not gonna like you. Well, we're not here to be liked. We're here to be respected and to teach those guys how to be respectful. So I'd say I'm both. You know, I'm disciplinarian and, you know, I feel like I'm a player's coach because you can come talk to me. You might not like the answer I give you, but you know, I'm not intimidating to where like they're scared to come talk. You come talk to me, you know, you might not, you know, like in the parents know too, and I've heard on several occasions we don't even come to you because we already know the answer. I'm like, well, hey, you know, my door open, you can come. My cell phone always on, you know. So, but it's just like that.
Now, I want to end it on this because I know you guys got to get back to center point. But when these young men part ways in your program and they go off in their day-to-day lives and they have their own families and things, what do you hope they take away from their time that you had with them and your mentorship to them to carry over into their day-to-day lives?
Man, I hope that they know we taught them. And like I said, we always tell, like when I do speaking engagements and things, I always say, we can't change the world. You know, when we first started teaching, they told you you're going to change the world. I don't believe in that. I just believe you can make every kid think. And if you can make them think, that can come about change. So I just want those guys to, you know, just the same way when we got this our first senior class since we've been there.
That's crazy.
I want those guys to know 4 years ago what you were, what are you now? Mm-hmm. You know, and then now what's the next 4 years after this, what that's gonna bring. And we do a lot of traveling over the summer. We'd rather do anything at Center Point because I want my kids to get out of Center Point. Center Point has about 16,000, 17,000 people, that's all. You know, we just a small nook in the city. You know, so I want my kids to say, get out. Whether they come to Gaston again, I don't know. But if they came to Gaston today, you know, it was up in 3-4 hours today. So I just want them to know it's a world outside of Center Point. You can be what you want to be if you put in, you know, what it takes. You know, I want them to know, like, I gave you tough love, the world gonna treat you worse. So even if you deserve it, it might not happen to you. You know, your time is different from his time. So that's why you need to chill on your teammate. If he get an offer, you haven't got your offer yet, that's fine. It's not your time yet. You know, stay fruitful, keep being a servant leader, keep working. Your time will come. And to me, I know a lot of people say, you know, I want them to be great husbands, you know, great fathers. I do. You know what I mean? I really, really do. But I want them to find who they are first, find out who they want to be, find out who they are first before they get to the fatherhood, the husband, and all of that. Find out who you are first. You know, enjoy life, find out what you want to do, and then just live, man. Live the right way. Just go live. That's my whole thing, man. This pandemic taught you life's short.
Yeah, man.
You know, I can't, you can parenthood and man, life's short. I don't want to talk about my 16, 17-year-old kid. Man, when you come, you know, all the time, you know, I don't want them thinking about a kid until, you know, another 10 years. You know, so right now, like, man, live the right way.
That's it.
You know, that was my biggest thing, live the right way.
That's huge, Coach. I appreciate your time, and I know you guys got to get back, but we're looking forward to covering you guys again this season, and good luck to you guys.
Man, thank you.
Appreciate
thank
it.
y'all.